All right, Celeste, I've tagged you in as co-host. If you can continue to admit people in the waiting room, we'll go ahead and get this town hall started. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sonia Cole Hamilton. I serve as Chief of Staff in DeSoto ISD, and I would like to officially welcome you to the second installment of our Town Hall Tuesdays series. Today, we've got all of our campus principals with us. Members of our community, our parents, our students have had a lot of questions for us as we've transitioned to this new learning style as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Our principals have been amazing. They've been really responsive, and so has the staff members at each and every campus. But we recognize that you guys, maybe got questions you want to ask directly to our campus leaders, those who really manage the day-to-day operations of what occurs on our buildings and in our classrooms. So we're so excited to have everyone here with us today. But we will also have some special community guests with us, and we're gonna give them time to log on just to let you know who's gonna join us for today's installment of our Town Hall series. We're gonna have the City of DeSoto Communications Manager, Matt Smith, joining us today, as well as the City of Glen Heights Economic Development Administrator, Mr. Marlon Goff. And we're gonna give them an opportunity during our meeting to share some updates in their respective areas and talk about how they've been handling the COVID-19 pandemic crisis from their respective seats. And then again, we're gonna shift back to our campus leaders and hear how you guys are connected with staff, students, and families amid our school building closures. We've been collecting questions online to facilitate today's conversation. And so I'm gonna go over some quick rules of engagement. Right now, as I said at the top of the meeting, everyone is muted. This is to help facilitate the conversation so that we don't have background noises or distractions as we've got people talking. We may periodically even turn off your video if your background is distracting. So please don't be alarmed if that occurs. Everyone will be able to unmute themselves when we get to the Q&A portion, but as of right now, I've got myself and our Chief Academic Officer, Celeste Barreto, assisting to unmute our guests as it is your turn to speak. For those who are present in the Zoom's meeting, please post your questions and comments in the chat box. And this goes for our parents, our guests, community, whoever's joining us today. We are reading that chat box. We're going to utilize that to help facilitate our town hall today. All questions are going to be answered in the order received. And if we don't have an answer for you today, immediately during the course of this meeting, we will be sure to get back with you. For those interested in sharing notes of interest on social media, please be sure you tag us. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag DeSoto ISD Town Hall. As we get started today, I'm going to introduce our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. DeAndre J. Weaver. You in the house, Dr. Weaver?
I'm in the house. What's up? Good afternoon. I keep saying good morning. Good afternoon, everybody. So good to see you all. Thank you all for being here today. You know, in the absence of being physically connected, we are trying our absolute best to stay connected. And so although we're physically distancing ourselves, we don't want to socially distance ourselves. So just want to thank our communications director and our communications team for their thoughtfulness in organizing yet another amazing opportunity to connect with people. And big shout out to our board of trustees. Love them. 7 individuals who are serving on behalf of this community during some really challenging times. So really appreciate their efforts and their time. And so huge kudos to them.
Thank you, Dr. Weaver. As I shared, we are proud community partners with the City of DeSoto as well as the City of Glen Heights. And we do have representatives from each of those cities today to share updates with us. We'll shift to the City of DeSoto first. I believe we have Miss Kathy Jones on the line. Kathy, are you with us? There you go, Kathy. You have any updates
okay,
for us from the City of DeSoto?
Thank you. I appreciate the offer, and we appreciate being included in your town halls. We are working hard at City of DeSoto to keep folks safe and to make it through this pandemic. And the first thing I'd like to share is Republic Waste, our company that is the contractor for our solid waste, has a few requests of our citizens, and I'm hoping we can pass it through your forum here. We're asking everybody to be sure and bag your garbage and seal it. That's required by ordinance, but it's also very helpful for the waste haulers. They just grab the bag and throw it in the truck, and no loose garbage falls out. There's not anything to pick up. So that's the first thing. The second thing is they are currently suspending bulk waste pickup, which is old sofas, a mattress, those kinds of things. They are picked up routinely with your trash on the second trash day of the week. Right now they're asking, please no don't put those out for now. We are working on a place to have a bulk waste drop off, but we're still working on that. So no news on that yet. And then finally on brush, when you're out, everybody's at home, so we're cleaning and we're trimming trees and making our houses look good, but that's causing some stress on our waste hauler. They're asking to, it's fine to keep trimming those trees, but just put them out in 10-yard stacks for now so that they have a chance to keep going and catch up. Other thing, that was our number one thing. We also want to remind everybody to fill out your census form while you're online. You're doing other things. You can always go to www.2020census.gov and get that census form filled out, because that's very important right now too. Our fire chief wanted to share that we are doing pretty well medically in DeSoto, that we have had no infections in any of our long-term care centers, our nursing homes. That's a great thing to hear. There is, my counterpart, Matt Smith, is on the call with Dallas County right now, and there may be some not great news coming out of Dallas County. We're at the peak, and so we're trying to flatten it, but you got to get to the peak before you can go to the other side. So it may not be great news today, but things are looking better. Our Parks Department is, who manages our senior center, has been working very hard lately to reach out to all the seniors who are patrons of our senior center. That's a given, and providing meals to them. But they also have put together a database of about 3,000 other senior citizens in DeSoto, and they're just making calls. They're checking on people and trying to make sure everybody's okay and that they have what they need. And they're encouraging you to do that in your neighborhood as well. If you know a senior next door, you're going to the grocery store, call them and ask them if you can bring them a loaf of bread or anything that they need. So we're really encouraging that. And then finally, I just wanted to say tomorrow, our mayor's going to kick off the Mayor White Ribbon Program in appreciation to all our first responders and our healthcare workers. So when you start seeing white ribbons around town, that's what that's all about. And we just want to say thank you to everybody that's worked so hard through this process. And then finally, if you have any questions about specific information with City of DeSoto, always check our website, DeSotoTexas.gov, and look for the COVID red button at the very top, and that'll take you to the page with all the information. That's what I got. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much, Kathy. Definitely appreciate you joining us today. I want to shift now to the City of Glen Heights Economic Development Administrator, Mr. Marlon Goff. Let me unmute you. There you go, sir. Do you have any updates, or what can you share with us on behalf of the City of Glen Heights?
Great. Good afternoon, Ms. Cole Hamilton, DeSoto ISD Board of Trustees, administration, and staff. Marlon Goff, happy to represent the City of Glen Heights in our city manager's office. In terms of updates, so we had a special approved a resolution that will allow the city manager's office to enact a policy to pay COVID hazard pay for a category of our employee workforce. So certainly our first responders and public safety included among that. So that's something that was a formal action taken. Right now, in terms of COVID, we are at a confirmed 9 cases, a total of 8 on the Dallas County side and 1 in Ellis County. But I will say that that does not represent active cases. So not all of those cases are still active. And then in terms of information, we always encourage our constituents and stakeholders to visit glenheightstx.gov, certainly our social media channels, for the most urgent or recent relevant updates affecting Glen Heights and our school district partners like DeSoto. And then lastly, every Friday at 3 p.m. on our social media channels, again, we'll have our chat with the mayor, and featured recently we have our city managers, our public safety officials. So that's also a great opportunity for folks who want to get into the week, progress report updates, be able to submit questions via live chat. So that's essentially what I want to communicate to the group. Thanks for inviting us to take part in the call, and it's good to see everyone. Hope everyone's being safe and productive.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Our residents and people on the call have an opportunity to ask questions, and we do have one question so far in the chat box. Kathy, is for you. And the question is there a date yet on when the bulk pickup will resume?
No, I'm sorry. We don't have any date at this current time. As I said, we are working to find a location where we could possibly have dumpsters brought in and people can bring their bulk waste, because I know, having that stuff in your garage for any length of time can be daunting. But no, not until we get through this process will we have a specific date to resume.
Gotcha. Kathy, thank you so much. Everybody, round of applause for the City of DeSoto, City of Glen Heights for joining us today. Our guests, you are welcome to stay with us. We are going to transition to the portion where we're featuring our campus leaders. And so as I give my campus leaders an opportunity to prepare themselves for the town hall, just want to remind everyone, we've got all 12 campuses represented today. We're going to start with our elementary campuses. And for you all watching at home, we're going to go in this order: Amber Terrace, Cockrell Hill, Moats, KJ, Ruby Young, Meadows, and Woodridge. And then we'll transition to the middle school, and then we'll hit up our extra campuses, Wings, DAP. And then we'll close, I think, with the high school. So I think we're going to start with you, Keishla. If you're ready, we're going to start with Amber Terrace and work our way through our schools. Briefly share with us an update. What are some ways you've been connecting with staff, students, parents? And if there's any specific questions that you've been receiving, some FAQs, if you will, Ms. Coleman, for the parents, from the parents at Amber Terrace, we're going to give you an opportunity to share that at this time.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I am the principal, Keishla Coleman at Amber Terrace. And so some of the things that we've been doing to stay connected, basically as a staff, we started out having a Zoom every day, which was quite daunting, but also it kept us connected. But also we talked about the updates that were coming forward, because really in the beginning there were so many changes and so much newness that was coming. So we did that as a staff, and we have since moved to once a week or on an as-needed basis. But one of the things that we determined as a staff was that we thought it would be important that the teachers reach out to each one of their classrooms and try to connect and make contact with every student and family in their class. And after they did that diligently for about, maybe 3 or 4 times, then they sent the information of those students that were not able to contact to myself and the counselor. And so our counselor, our wonderful, wonderful counselor, has been so good at reaching out to the families via phone. She has a Google phone number, website, everything to try to reach all of those students. And our teachers as well continue to reach out. All of our information and updates are located on our website. We created a Google site and School Messenger. What we wanted to do was to continue and provide some normalcy, because we always use School Messenger and we always use our website. So those were some things, and Class Dojo is the platform in which the teachers use to talk to communicate with parents. So we thought it would be really important to continue along those lines. And so basically that has worked for us. We have received some questions about medication devices, and so we've been able to cover that and reach out to those parents specifically and get them what they need. Any questions?
No, I appreciate that, Ms. Coleman. And if so, we can look back to you with any questions people may have. Angela Robinson, we'll go to you next.
Hill Elementary. My name is Angela Robinson. First, I would like to recognize the city officials, community, and our distinguished superintendent and his cabinet as well. And I would like to thank Dr. Weaver for his leadership and transparency during this unprecedented time as well. Some ways that we're staying connected to our families is via Class Dojo, School Messenger, Twitter, newsletter, video message, and then also our weekly check-in with our students. Our teachers are calling our students every week, as well as having Zoom classes with our students. We want to make sure that we're staying connected with them. The students that teachers haven't been able to reach, they have emailed myself and my counselor, and we have made some home visits just to make sure that we could connect with those students to see what's going on, to some visits with the students, and then also providing additional food guidance classes for our students as well, which is very needed at this time because we do have some students that are having some very difficult situations in which they are dealing with. Another thing that I'm doing is also making just spot calls with my parents and my grandparents. I know that I have some grandparents that it's kind of challenging to deal with this technology age. And so when they email me or Class Dojo me, I do make an attempt to have another personal connection with them to ensure that everything is going well. We've also made 3 attempts to get devices to our families by going out 3 different times and just basically staying connected. Our teachers are giving feedback to students based on their anytime, anywhere learning in real time. So they're answering Class Dojo or Google Classroom messages in real time. I'm also communicating with my faculty on the daily basis based on the updates that are given by our cabinet as well, so that they are well informed and can keep our families informed as well. Another thing that we're doing is having parent Zoom meetings. That way we're staying connected with our families as well. One fun thing that we're doing is having spirit weeks with our students. And so it may be having a TikTok Tuesday where they share a video and post to Class Dojo or their Google Classroom, or what are you reading Wednesday? So they share what they're reading with our families, the other families other than themselves. And then also a Team Spirit Day where they wear their favorite jerseys, and then they share that with our other families as well. And so the students and the teachers and the families love seeing that. At this time, the main questions that my parents have is questions like, when will they be able to get their personal items? And so we do meet with them individually to try to get those items taken care of. But those are the main things that we're having at this time. That's it for Cockrell Hill.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. All right, Ms. Barton, we've got Moats next up.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Alexandra Barton, and I am the principal at Frank Moats Elementary. So I echo some of the sentiments that my colleagues have shared about our leadership, and I am very thankful and proud to be working for this organization. We have also transitioned with the communication, so I'm going to speak about what we're doing today because the last 4, this is our 5th week. We've done some changes. So where we are today, our teachers are doing 30 minutes of non-academic Zoom meetings with their classes on a weekly basis. These meetings are intended for our scholars, not only to connect with their teachers, but also connect with each other because they miss their friends and they wanted a platform to do that. Our community, the parents reported that, so we provided that for them. Our counselor also jumps in to some of these Zoom meetings. She has a schedule where the last 10-15 minutes, she does a small social emotional lesson for our scholars. And these are, again, the non-academic Zoom meetings. Mrs. Williams, our assistant principal, and I are hosting bi-weekly Zoom meetings. They're called parent gatherings, where parents can come and we update them with information, although it's already in our website. But like some of you mentioned, our grandparents, they come on and they hear it firsthand from us, and then they have a platform to ask any questions that they may have. We did communicate a lot through Dojo because that's how our parents feel the most comfortable. And now we've transitioned into our Google Sites that we have created for Frank Moats. But anytime that we're updating that Google site, we send a Dojo message just to remind them that that site is there and for them to go get any of that late information there. We also are doing an FME focus. During the regular academic year, we did a Friday focus where we highlighted the work that was happening around the campus. So now we're highlighting the work that's going on in the homes of our scholars. So parents are sending in pictures, teachers are sending in pictures. We create this document. We also highlight the staff that's still on campus, our cafeteria workers and our counselors, so that our community can see that all the great work that's still happening there. At this time, we're also looking ahead for our events that would have normally been taking place at the end of the school year. The Cinco de Mayo event is a big thing that happened at Frank Moats, I'm sure, along with other schools in the district. So we are currently working to see how we're still going to engage families in that, because we still want to be able to celebrate and engage our community in those end of year events. our nurse and counselor put out weekly wellness tips for our community, and we put them on our website, and they have great resources on them. And every week, for every single day, it's a different tip that they put out. Our counselor is also working with our school ambassadors to create more engaging events for our scholars. So some of the things that you guys have mentioned, we want to be able to create those opportunities as well for our scholars to engage online as we're traveling through this. But right now, the same questions that you guys, about technology, about different personal items and things, but we're troubleshooting in our website. Parents have our information, they have our administration and all of our teacher information, and they can call us again with the Google numbers that have also been set up. They have all that, and we contact them within 24 hours. So the questions that we're getting in or the support that is needed, we immediately filter it so that they can get a response and we can close the loop on their needs. One last thing is our great music teacher. She has taken the initiative. She wanted to personally send out a note to all of our scholars. So she is taking a certain amount of scholars that she sends out a personal written note to them every week. And we definitely appreciate that personal connection. So we are staying connected with our families as much as we can. And we look forward to new ways of collaborating with my colleagues to continue to communicate and stay connected.
Thank you so much, Ms. Barton. We appreciate that overview of what Frank Moats is doing to remain connected to its community at this time. I'm going to shift over to Angela Batiste. She is the principal over at KJ. But for my people on the call, we do have the chat box. If you've got any questions right now, we're talking to our elementary principals. Any questions for our elementary principals, drop your questions in the chat box. We're up to about 62 participants and some of that staff, but some of those are also just members of our community. So again, any questions, put them in the chat box. Right now, we're talking to elementary principals. We'll shift over to Ms. Batiste, who actually leads a campus that is pre-K through 6th grade, I believe, at the time. Right now, Ms. Batiste, you have any updates for us about KJ?
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. To our esteemed guests, and extremely well during this pandemic. While school is our number one focus has been on wellness, self-wellness. And so that's what we've just been checking in mainly even before our teachers start their lessons. They try to make sure they do self-check-ins to make sure everybody's doing well. With the rollout of the AAL, which is our new learning plan, our campus has embraced Schoology as our dashboard, and our teachers are loving it. And once again, our scholars have surpassed my expectations by embracing it as well. The teachers are engaging with their scholars during weekly Zoom meetings. They have, of course, the district provided videos, but additionally, they're providing additional support to the students should they have any questions. They're also having weekly Zoom meetings just, again, to engage, let the kids kind of collaborate as friends because they're missing each other. And then, too, they're providing feedback to their students to make sure that we can have the quality of instruction and to make sure that we're providing them quality feedback to foster deeper learning. Our counselor, Ms. Robinson, has always been so amazing, and she still is during this time. She's been providing grade level Zoom lessons through with the guidance and self-wellness. She's also doing individual check-ins. Once she, any teacher identifies a parent or family or student that is in need, they quickly send Ms. Robinson an email, and she follows up with the family with a one-on-one call, and she's able to service that need, or we kind of come together to, put a plan in place, engaging in fun activities for the kids, because again, they are missing one another. Just recently, our one of our fifth grade teachers, Mr. Rowe, he did a TikTok challenge. He again posts during our weekly newsletter. Second grade, just this past weekend, one of our second grade teachers, she hosted a movie night. Not only second grade, participated, but it was others, the camaraderie with the campus. There were other grade levels that participated as well. And of course, we did our KJ staff quarantine shenanigans video. I'm sure many of you saw that. It took me about 100 times to learn the dance, but I did it. And so we had a lot of fun with that. And we're having a lot of response from kids with the whole TikTok. So just any way that we can keep things that's the focus right now. You can always check in with us through our Google site that we've created, and you can hit that on the district website. We're continuing with our KJTMA Parent Weekly Update, which we've done all year. If you are not receiving that, please send me an email and I can make sure that you get on the email list for that. And so again, too, our teachers have Class Dojo, and so they send messages as well. So that pretty much is what's going on at KJ. We're just having a lot of fun during it, despite of, or just trying to make the best of the situation. I haven't had a lot of questions coming around, so that lets me know that most things are going well as to be expected.
I hear you, Batiste. No news is good news, right? Up next for our elementary principal roundtable session, we've got Ms. Shanta Duran. She is the principal over at Ruby Young. Ms. Duran, I'm unmuting you so you can share what's been going on.
Thank you. Good morning to all who are assembled, and greetings as protocol has already been established. The Ruby Young Platinum School community continues to provide a supportive virtual learning environment for students, parents, and staff using a consistently multimodal approach. There has been an intentional effort made to maintain school as normal to the best possible extent. Our Anywhere, Anytime learning resource options are posted in a variety of locations for ease of access by students and parents. These locations include the Google Classroom, Class Dojo, and the RYE website. Teachers make individual and class group contacts with families using email, phone, and weekly staff meetings are being held on Wednesday afternoons to keep our staff in touch with what's going on. In addition, we are continuing to lead professional learning because the work still must go on in preparation for what is to come. Our campus has worked to maintain one key communicator throughout this process, which is our campus assistant principal. And this allows us to minimize and avoid mixed messages and information overload for our stakeholders. Now, from a social emotional perspective, our campus-based SEL coursework has continued in the Google Classroom platform with support and guidance from our wonderful counselor, Ms. Melindra Johnson. Finally, our family and parent Zoom check-in sessions are held on a bi-weekly basis to allow for open dialogue, questions, and encouragement among all stakeholders. So overall, we at Ruby Young have experienced a positive transition to the virtual school environment within our RYE Platinum School community, thanks to every single stakeholder. We are already in the process of transferring this current work to the upcoming school year. Thank you so very kindly.
Thank you, Shanta Duran. I like that addition of the platinum environment. Okay, we're going to shift over to Mr. Leon Darden. He is the principal over at the Meadows Elementary. Mr. Darden, you are unmuted to give us your updates.
Good afternoon, all that are assembled. I'd like to give a shout out to Dr. Weaver, our illustrious cabinet. They made this, as difficult a situation as it is, they made it so seamless. I'm really appreciative of the leadership on the cabinet level. Special shout out also to my colleagues. They're fantastic. It's tough to go in this order when you're behind such brilliance. Thank you to Ms. Jones and Mr. Goff for attending as well, and our constituents that are also on the phone or on the Zoom. At the Meadows Elementary, we are focused. I won't belabor the points. There's similar points. Number one, we are focused on primarily our social, emotional, and mental health and physical health of all that are involved. We are in constant communication and contact with our stakeholders, our students, our parents, We will be holding our first parent meeting this week. In terms of our virtual classrooms, we are working to perfect this evolutionary process. One of the things that I've been focusing on is making certain that some major points of our Anytime, Anywhere Learning platform, to me, the most beneficial aspect, and there are many, but letting my parents know that you also have access to the phenomenal teachers that are at Ruby Young. Of course, I have phenomenal teachers at the Meadows Elementary, but during this process, we've gotten an opportunity to go into PLCs and get to meet these teachers at Woodridge and Frank Moats and just all of the comprehensive talent that's in the DeSoto Independent School District. And that access, to me, will serve us in the future as we go into the 2020-21 school year. Also, again, in terms of that communication piece, we're just staying very diligent in improving our processes. We're always readily available for parents who have questions. They have my work cell. They can always email me. And another shout out to our cabinet members. When our parents have questions or there's some miscommunication, they always reach out to us first. And that's been a staple of the leadership. If there are some issues that arise, especially during this time, they shoot it back to the campus and they allow us to solve any issues. Our parents have been great in this process. So we're just continuing to evolve. Virtual learning is not going anywhere. And as we, again, continue to perfect these processes, I'm so excited about the direction that we're going. We're able to lean on one another. As I alluded to earlier, Ruby Young can't just keep the talent in Ruby Young. I can't just keep the talent in my campus. Most just can't keep the talent at their campus. We have to share the talent. And so we are a team. And so this is, there's a tremendous opportunity here that we are all capitalizing on to change the face of education. And we're starting right here in the DeSoto Independent School District. So thank you all. And I look forward to meeting you and hearing from you, and any questions, concerns you have, always feel free to reach out.
Thank you so much, Mr. Darden. And closing us out on our elementary portion is the campus leader over at Woodridge Elementary, Ms. Tarsha Lunkin.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I am the very proud principal at Woodridge Fine Arts Magnet Academy. I'm very glad to be here. I certainly want to publicly acknowledge Dr. Weaver as well, and his leadership team for the leadership that they provided for us during this time. I also want to publicly acknowledge my colleagues who have been very supportive of me and just everyone during this time. At Woodridge, like many of the other campuses, our first priority has been wellness and safety that we were making to each of our staff members. I made sure that I contacted each one of them personally. They made sure that they contact each one of their students personally. Also, our administrative team, just as many of the other campuses, also help teachers to reach out when they have made multiple attempts to contact parents and students and hadn't been able to. They too reached out to parents. We've also been trying to Google Classroom that students are able to learning. So many of our instructional aides have come alongside. We've assigned them to each classroom teacher. They're also helping to make sure they're into this information. The other thing that we've done is making sure that we have engaging activities for our students. Many of our teachers are hosting Zoom meetings on a weekly basis. Some of them are just another through lunch hangouts. They're doing Zoom parties, Zoom dance parties, birthday celebrations for students. We've had virtual spirit weeks, just like many of the other campuses as well. We post daily inspirational messages on Dojo. Our coach has been great about doing that, and also implementing exercise games and challenges for students and families to engage in as well. We've done Art with a Heart, where students have been able to write encouraging messages to one another, to their classmates, and to staff. And so, like I said, many of the things that have been mentioned, we've done a lot of those things. We're trying to make sure that we keep parents updated through our weekly newsletters. We also have a Google site that has all of our contact information and many of the updates from the district on there. Many of our teachers are doing read alouds as well for students. I heard from a parent the other day that talked about how happy her daughter was each day to get home and listen to another chapter of Judy B. Jones that one of the first grade teachers is reading to them on a daily basis. So we're doing things like that. And then we're just encouraging everyone to make sure that they capture these moments. In our newsletter this week, I shared a quote from Dr. Seuss, and it says, sometimes we'll never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. And so, is make sure that they are making the most of every moment during this time, because we are making memories that'll last us a lifetime. And so we're trying to do our best to capture those, asking parents to send those in through Class Dojo, upload them in Google Classroom. We've also created a form that is on our website where parents can upload comments, shout outs to teachers, and upload some of their student work and photos during this time. So we want to make sure that we are spending time with our families, and that learning is continuing to go, and that we realize that life still goes on around us, and just making sure that we're here to support everybody. And so as far as questions, most of my questions have been the same questions that many of my colleagues have received around electronic devices, retrieving essential items. So we too have made multiple attempts with device distributions for parents, and also making sure that parents have the opportunity to retrieve essential items that they need, like medication and things like that. So that's what we're doing at Woodridge.
Thank you, Tarsha. We have had a few questions come in, and I think they could be applicable for our elementary principals as well as secondary. So elementary principals, I'm gonna ask you to drop your responses to the question I'm about to ask in the chat. That way we can transition this to our FAQ document online. But the question that parents have been asking is regarding the activity fees, or if they bought a yearbook. Just fees they've paid for their children to participate, whether field trip or whatever. How's that money gonna be handled? Is it gonna be refunded? If so, when? Who do they contact? So for all my campus leaders on the call, if you can think off the top of your head of a specific instance in which you have collected activity fees that have not been applied to something has been used, please go ahead and drop your response in the chat. Parents, you can go there for an answer. We're also gonna push those out via our website. Celeste, I saw that you did respond to a question. I did want to elevate that just on the call as well. Someone wondering, how will we continue to leverage the anytime, anywhere learning structure, either once school is started, in the event of a snow day? So Celeste, I'm gonna give you a chance to respond to that, please.
Excuse me, absolutely. So I shared a little bit, just a snippet in the chat, that anytime, anywhere learning is really part of the fabric now of how we do school. To go back to what we knew before, not only would it, I think at this point, not be possible, it also would miss such a huge opportunity to do school differently. And so when I think about anytime, anywhere learning, I really think about the power of being able to truly access learning anytime, anywhere. And so what a great opportunity for us to rethink bad weather days, or to rethink what each of our own individual children need. I'm noticing even with my own son, just hearing so much about a struggle for a lot of families, it seems to actually have motivated my son more, right? And so it's an opportunity for us to think about how we continue to personalize for our kids and the way that they learn, and even for our teachers and our team. So I think the two situations that Chase brought up here, rethinking bad weather days, or thinking about, a student who can't be physically on campus, I think that those are two great wonderings to consider, along with all of the other ways that we can rethink how we do school from here
Thank you, Ms. Barreto. Sonia Cole Hamilton,
Yes, sir.
I think she's done. Sonia, you want to go back to the next principal?
Yeah, we do have another question that did come in, and I believe Dr. Weaver, yourself, or even Celeste could be prone to answer this. You know, we've been really intentional about our do no harm approach to grading. And so parents are just asking, you know, what does this look like? How does my child have to do the home learning? I'm hearing grades don't count. Any suggestions for how to keep their children motivated to do the at-home assignments?
Got it. So we're in the midst of clarifying quite a bit of the frequently asked questions related to grading. And we talked a lot about this at our town hall meeting last week. And I think that it'll continue to come up because I think each of us, you know, grading was the way that we've thought about grading is the way that we experienced grading. But learning isn't for the sake of being issued a grade. And so differently about the value of learning and what that means. So there will be grades. Our kids will be graded on a culminating performance assessment. They already have access to those performance assessments and they'll work on them throughout the course of the year or the rest of the semester. And we'll have the specific answers to specific questions like what impact does this have on my class rank and my GPA and all those different things. I really want us to push our kids and our each other and our families and everyone to really think about learning for learning's sake, that the reason that we are engaging in learning experiences isn't because we'll be graded on it, but because we find value and excitement in mastering the content and the material. I have been very impressed, and I know our campus leaders would agree, with the level of thought, dedication, and creativity that's gone into our teachers developing videos and learning tasks and experiences for kids, even in this kind of new environment and what I would argue is still a crisis environment that has been, those experiences have been geared toward the value of the learning itself. And we're really excited about that. And I think as far as, you know, keeping kids motivated, it's an opportunity for us to think differently about the way that we motivate our kids. And I don't mean just for families. I mean, I'm a parent myself, and I understand that there's a time and a place for reminding our children that they'll be graded and held accountable. I think really building a deep level of motivation for the learning itself is really the key. And for us to collectively start thinking about what does it mean to motivate and grade a student based on their actual mastery, as opposed to some of the other ways that we've traditionally considered it.
No, I think that's very helpful. I appreciate that, Celeste. That's a good response. We're gonna make sure that we're very clear with our community about what grading looks like during this time, and again, our approach to a do no harm structure as relates to our students. I think we're ready to hear from our middle school campus leaders. So Deidre Hannibal, we're gonna go to you first. Ms. Hannibal is the proud leader over at DeSoto East Middle School. Ms. Hannibal, talk to us.
All right, good afternoon. Again, I am Principal Hannibal. I am the proud principal of the great DeSoto East Middle School, also the home of the East Beast. And like everyone else has said, thank you all for being on the call. Thank you for the work that you've done as parents and community leaders, and also as district leaders. So we initially, DeSoto East, what we did when we first started knowing that this was going to happen to our campus, our community, our nation, we gave out the number that we still answer every day from 7 to 7, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We gave out a number to our parents, and that number is 214-507-4386. We answered that phone from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And for the first 2 weeks, I answered that call, that phone number myself, just so parents could hear my voice. Of course, I called every staff member. We've called all students at every number that we have available. And then now our counselors are doing the the additional touch points to reach out to those parents on a consistent basis. Another thing, for about 3 weeks, we've been running the East Middle School online dashboard for our parents. It has everything that you could possibly need on that dashboard. We take feedback from parents weekly of anything that, hey, I was trying to figure out information about bill pay because I'm struggling. We put that information on there for our parents. So it's really a one-stop shop. And I want to thank, I think it was Ms. Goff who gave the information about the trash pickup. That information will also go on the East dashboard about the suspension of the bulk pickup. So it's a place where our families can come and get everything they need about the learning plan, about how to reach out to teachers, how to stay engaged with us. Last week, we've done, I want to say this is our upcoming week will be our 3rd parent meeting for our families. It will be this upcoming Monday, but we've done 3 parent meetings, and we actually do them staggered times. So we do parent meetings at 9 a.m., 2 p.m. and at 6 p.m. And this really helps us get a big bulk of our parents. We've had about, in all of our Zoom calls, about 300 parents to come on those meetings and kind of give us feedback, check in with us, sometimes critical feedback, and just sometimes to give praise. And so we're so thankful for our East community. Last week, we did an Instagram student versus family TikTok challenge, and we went from 100 followers to 300 followers in the span of like 2 days. So it was really catching on. I got out there and embarrassed myself, but it was really nice to see the students and the staff battle and go back and forth. But ultimately the students won because their joints are just way better than our joints. The next thing that we do also is our counselors. Counselor Torres does outreach for East Middle School. So if you are in need of, like I said, bill pay, if you're struggling with diapers, food, materials, whatever, Counselor Torres is our counselor for that. And then Counselor Butler is our counselor for parent and student engagement. She's coming up with some great ideas to help us engage our students and our parents, and it's working. So shout out to both of the amazing counselors at East Middle School. Our teachers post in Google Classroom every morning at 9 a.m. They do a welcome, and they just talk about if there's any work due for today, anything that's needed for those, for our kids to work on. Also, parents, one of the questions that constantly kind of comes up is, how do I see grades in Google Classroom? The teacher can set you up as a parent guardian, and what happens is you'll be able to see any assignments that your student has, and then whatever the teacher feedback for those assignments are once they have been submitted for approval. The next question that we often get is about student emails. So if a student checks their email right now and parents think, oh, we use Google Classroom, or we're using Schoology, or we used Google last year, what we're finding is parents go in there, they have their kids to log into those emails, and they notice, hey, I haven't gotten an email. Oh, well, what we wanted our parents to know is our students access their emails now through Microsoft Outlook. So if their students are looking and trying to check their emails, tell them to go into Microsoft Outlook and put in that information, and those students will be able to have updated emails from teachers or Google Classroom assignments. I think that is a really, activity funds. That was a question that does come up for us being a middle school. Right now, we are in the process of issuing to our, I guess, finance department, the names for our band field trips. That we need to make sure that we reimburse those families. It will come out in a check, and I will put it in the East dashboard to our parents as soon as we have gotten those ready to send out to you. I think that is it for us. But like I said, at East Middle School, our number one thing is that you're safe. When parents call me and they're stressed out about work, I tell them to take a breather, come back to it. Don't even call about work anymore. I don't want you to do work. I give them a timeline. Don't do work for the next 48 hours or next 24 hours. Call me, let's walk through it, because I don't want our parents stressed about this. And then I also get on the phone call with the students. Don't act like you don't know how to log into IXL. We've been doing this thing. So we had those conversations with the students, and again, we're there to support you any way possible.
Thank you, Hannibal. Hannibal's tired of y'all acting brand new. I was thinking our secondary students definitely know how to access some of these platforms. I appreciate that, Hannibal. For our elementary students, I know that our teaching and learning department has facilitated and put together a lot of how-to videos that walk you all step by step. And so they're available online now. I know the communications is going to work on pushing it out, Hannibal. So I appreciate you circling back with your students, reminding them that they probably most likely already know how to access those opportunities. Up next, we're going to hear from our DeSoto West principal, Miss Shanna Hawthorne. Shanna, I'm unmuting you now.
All right, woo-hoo. Good morning, everyone. And I'm like Dr. Weaver, good afternoon. Just wanted to share a big shout out to Dr. Weaver, to the cabinet, to everyone, and especially my co-laborers, our other principals. One of my favorite old movies is Smokey and the Bandit, and I like the theme song. Part of the theme song says, we got a long way to go, a short time to get there, and we're gonna do what they say can't be done. So I wanna say, listening to you guys, we are doing things that no one thought we would ever have to do, and guys, you are doing it very well. So I applaud all of you guys. Give yourself a pat on the back. At DeSoto West Middle School, we are committed to keeping our families informed and engaged. Parents are kept informed with our S'mores newsletter. We've used that all year long. It's on our campus website, and it's updated weekly. It has all of the latest happenings in the district, and every link, digital learning platform, everything is listed in one spot. We don't want parents having to look in multiple places, multiple emails to find information that they need. So with our newsletters, everything is right at hand. In our commitment to providing anytime, anywhere learning, teachers have created virtual learning experiences in Google Classrooms, and that is a shout out to our teachers. No one complained about, oh, I can't do this, I don't like technology. Everyone in our instructional aides have stepped up to the plate to do what needs to be done. Our teachers are available for assistance, to ask questions, provide feedback on homework, and just to give general guidance when needed. In addition to the academic support, we have counselors and teachers and instructional aides conducting weekly wellness checks. We're making sure our students are plugged in. We are paying attention to our students receiving special education services as well, to see if they need extra support. So once again, it's all hands on deck. One of the things that I'm really excited about, because I'm a bookworm, I can read all day long, is that we offer our virtual library services. So if parents click our library links, they can get virtual circulation help desk information. Things with resources. So if in reading, they're having to do book reports, they can go on that link to the library and get help for research. There's tech support, how to be safe on the internet, how to access the digital platforms that we have in the district. They have weekly book talks. You can check out audiobooks, ebooks. And this month is a school library month. And of course, this week they're doing poetry. So you can actually go into the on the virtual library site and listen to poems read by different authors, and also by our library staff in the district. So guys, I am really, really excited about that. Sometimes you just need a break from the norm to step away, and books are a great opportunity for that to happen. As before this happened and schools were closed, all staff remain available via the emails. Guys, everything's once again on our campus website. It's our first name dot last name at desotoisd.org. So we are responding to those email requests quickly, very promptly. And once again, team, our counselors, our instructional aides, our front office staff are still enrolling students. So guys, school is still open for business. If you have family members that's recently moved to the area and they need to enroll, have them to contact us and we will be glad to enroll any new students. Most of our questions have centered around devices and medication and refunds. So I am proud to say that last week, I made my last home dropout off of a device. We wanted to support parents who could not come at the times we were available. Had one parent who worked nights and slept days, and she just could not make it. So once again, we did do computer drop-offs, and we have issued out all of the devices that were allotted to us. And as far as I'm aware, we did meet all of the requests. As far as it relates to refunds this week, we are working on refunding for 8th grade week. That was an event that all the students were looking for and many students paid for. So we are getting that information together, and checks will be made out to you and mailed to you. So if you have a different mailing address, please make sure you send that information to us. Once again, you can email shanna.hawthorne@desotoisd.org. And once again, it is a team approach. I am very, very excited, and we are going to do what no one thought we would ever have to do, and we're gonna do it well. So go team.
Thank you, Ms. Hawthorne. You highlighted a very wonderful endeavor that was a collective effort of many in our system. I believe that we received about 2,800 or so requests for devices, and some of those people who had already had devices, but of that, you all, this team, this community was able to distribute more than 1,700 devices to our students and families. And so a big hand, pat on the back, round of applause. Excellent work, everyone. Kelly Wick Washington is the campus leader over McCowan Middle School. Kelly, we're gonna let you close out the middle school section of our hearing from our principals. Here you go, Kelly.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Again, I'm Kelly McWashington, principal at McCowan Middle School. Just wanted to say thank you guys, all of my esteemed colleagues, the cabinet, Superintendent Dr. Weaver, our parents, our community, for just, together during this global pandemic. Of course, we're in unprecedented times that caused us to greatly think outside of the box. In doing so, one of our greatest goals at McCowan Middle School was the wellness of our staff and our students as well. During this closure, we started off by communicating and contacting our students. All teachers took a class, their advisory class, to call those students to check in. If there was any concerns, those concerns was disseminated to our counselors, who had the opportunity to check in on those students as well. Not only just our students, but as an administrative team at McCowan, we wanted to also have the opportunity to check in with our staff members. So each week, our leadership team have a select group of teachers that we call check in, just see how things is going, personally more than professionally. Just want to make sure that in this time for them, their state of mind, their well-being is also being looked upon as well. As many of you know, last week was supposed to be our STAR testing week. So what we did, we had a STAR Spirit Week for our students, which was a blast. Students was participating every day in different activities. They were tagging us with our Facebook and our Twitter accounts. And also we included our teachers in on that, and those teachers had a blast being part of those Spirit Weeks. And keeping communication with our parents, we do so via school messenger, emails, parents that email any member of the leadership team and or our parents. We also have a running document that we're able to log all of these calls, just so that we can be accountable and just kind of understand, what are some of the questions or concerns that our students and parents are having. And then we can put something out there, get ready, planned and prepared, so that we don't continue to have these concerns. Also, we have our McCowan Instructional Plan Google site. On this particular Google site, we have all of the class codes, all of the class access for Google Classrooms for all teachers, their virtual hours when teachers are available, as well as we have a counselor's corner. Within that counselor's corner, the counselors have different forms that parents and students can access for any type of needs or concerns that they have pertaining to what our counselors can offer. Our teachers have really taken a hold of our Anytime, Anywhere learning plan. Just the completing the lessons, going through the instructional components and aspect with fidelity has been just, they've done leaps and bounds with that. Just collaborating with the other teachers from other schools as they're planning lessons has truly enhanced their teaching toolbox. So I know it's going to greatly benefit them as we transition back to our school campuses in the fall and before then. So I'm just letting all parents know that's here. We are accessible at any time. Many of the questions that have come from parents pertaining to our students at McCowan Middle School was for devices. We do have a couple scheduled device pickups / drop-offs this week. And then that should take care of all of the requests for the devices that parents have requested. We will also be available at our parent Zoom meetings. We've already conducted 3 last week, and we're conducting those by grade levels. So we will have them bi-weekly, just have an opportunity for parents to join in with us, to ask questions or get some clarifications, possibly on instructional plans and our grading policy. And our teachers have been conducting Zoom meetings with our students, not just on academic content, but giving students an opportunity so that they can visit and see their peers during this time. It is a great time to be an Eagle. I enjoy being part of this wonderful, phenomenal team. And I know together we will get through all of this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Homer Webb works to lead our alternative campus. And so Homer, I know you're in a unique situation regarding remote instruction. Did you have any updates to share from your campus?
A couple of things. First of all, good afternoon. I think I'm the first to get that right. Everybody else is still stuck on the morning, but it is afternoon. Hopefully everybody's doing well. I'm doing well here. We do have a couple of things for our parents and students at DAP. Parents, our students are following the district's Anytime, Anywhere learning plan. So that is accessible via the district's webpage, as well as the links that we've sent out. Most of our staff is communicating daily, if not weekly, with our parents and students. And so parents, please check your emails because our staff, if they have not communicated directly with the students or the students have not responded via email, they will send information to you as the parents. Otherwise, our counselors, we had a student with a death in the family while we've been out on leave. He's reached out to that student to make sure that he's taken care of and the family's taken care of. I will be leaving shortly to go hand out our last device for one of our students after this town hall meeting, but otherwise our students are learning. Our high school students are under the guise of the high school staff. Thanks, Mr. Joe, in taking care of your students. He made that request to be able to service each of his students. And so all of our high school students are currently being addressed by the staff there at the high school. So parents, if you have any students still and unaware of what's going on, it is the high school teachers that you need to be reaching out to in regards to the instruction that should be occurring. Otherwise, we are learning there at the DAP. Our middle schoolers hopefully will be successful. If you have any questions, concerns, or issues, feel free to email me at the email right there. If I can point down to it, homer.d.webb@desotoisd.org. And we will make sure that we get in contact with you and resolve any issues you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Webb. I appreciate that. Bridget Neville also leads a unique campus. She's a campus leader over at Wings. Ms. Neville, did you have any updates for our community?
Great afternoon, everyone. I am Bridget Neville, the excited principal at Wings. And at our school, Wings stands for Where I Now Gain Success. And so we serve the students that are in need of credit recovery and credit acceleration. And we are still focused on dedication, resilience, and success. So the way we are designed, we are a school within a school. We have like a program at the high school, and so we assist those high school students with graduation. So for us, our WING students, they are accustomed to the online format because each student has a personalized program of courses that they need to complete. But what they are not accustomed to is that daily dose of love, nurturing, motivation, snacks, conversations, all of that comes with just the relationship building piece. And so to bridge that gap, then what we do, our students, they will receive at least 3 to 4 touch points a week, either from the counselor, the teacher, myself, or their lab facilitator. And so that's been working really well. We do have a couple of students that have had some incidents throughout the week, but we've been able to assist. For our staff, the way we are staying connected, we have 2 virtual staff meetings a week. And then of course we have calls and text messages, and so they are doing well also. And then for our community, we do have our Twitter account, we have our IG account, and then also what has really worked well for us is that we have a daily virtual hours Zoom link that's posted on our website. So every day from 11:30 until 12:30, then myself or someone else is there to just answer any questions that you have about being admitted into the program. So the best news that we have is that we still have students that are graduating. We have several students that only need 1 to 2 classes to graduate, plus they're working on projects for graduation. And so that's what we're focused on, is just that dedication piece, our students being resilient through all the situations that they have, and then just them being successful. So if you have any questions, again, we're available every day, 11:30 to 12:30 on the Zoom link, and it's on the first page. And then also my email is Bridget.Nevels, N-E-V as in Victor, E-L-S @DeSoto ISD. And I would be remiss if I just didn't say thank you to the community for just rallying around this new normal, this new platform for us. And then of course, our superintendent and his awesome cabinet, and of course, my outstanding colleagues. So that's me at WINGS. Have a great day.
Thanks, Ms. Nevels. We appreciate you sharing some updates from your area. We're going to transition now to Dr. Taylor. Dr. Taylor is the principal of our early college program. And so as you were speaking to the importance of the continuation of learning, Ms. Nevels, I know Dr. Taylor shares similar sentiments. Dr. Taylor?
Good afternoon. Yes, I am Dr. Labata Taylor. I am the principal for the Early College High School, and I'm excited to be here today and just share some updates. I encourage everyone to just stay safe. We are just excited to be together. There is unity in community. As far as the early college, we are continuing to work with Cedar Valley on updates. As we know, all the courses went online, so even if they had face-to-face at the college, all those, of course, are online. And we also just received an update that they are anticipating going that way also for the summer classes. So please continue to check your emails, parents, from the counselors on information about that. And as soon as we get more information, I believe there's another meeting next week with Cedar Valley on a Zoom, then we'll be sending that information out via Remind. Our teachers have also been doing pre-recorded videos, but we want to encourage the students to continue to check in with their classroom facilitator. They've been doing a good job. The classroom facilitators have been calling. The counselors have held Zoom meetings with seniors. There's been some parents on there. I've been reaching out to parents and students. And so just please continue to have that two-way communication. We encourage you, because this is day by day, and sometimes it changes, and we don't want anything to be left unsaid or undone. We do have our website. It is updated. It links to the CBC page, but of course we know for early college, those students report directly to the professors, and so it's important that they are reaching out to those professors because we don't have access to that information. And so remind them to check their Blackboard and their eConnect for Cedar Valley College, and those things are there. And so I'm very pleased with the communication. We are working with the Go Center still. There's several things that are going on as far as possible HBCU virtual fairs. And then also one of the classes was supposed to have a physical field trip. And now we can't do that, but the professor is doing an option of a virtual field trip to a museum. And so we're excited about those options, and we're just working together and very excited to be a part of this team and with DeSoto ISD. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor. Closing us out with our secondary leadership, we're going to go to the man, Mr. Sean Joseph. He's the campus leader over at DeSoto High School. Mr. Joseph.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's kind of daunting when you have to follow such great leaders in front of me, but they've done an awesome job. So I want to talk about just a few things. I don't want to hold us too long, so I've just listed a few things I want to address as far as the high school. We began this process with stopping the weekly calls, and that was done intentionally so that we could get all the messages in from the district and people pay attention to those messages. But then we have resumed those. So our teachers were able to reach out to every student on their second period roster. That was their expectation, and they fill out a form, communicate with us if there was an issue. After that, we have a series of Zoom calls. So our counselors are setting up Zoom calls for their grade level. So I know at the 12th grade level and the 10th grade level, those are occurring. For instance, at 10th grade, Ms. Dewberry, Ms. Lynn has chosen to do those daily. So every day at 11 o'clock, you can get on a Zoom chat, and the password for that Zoom chat was sent to our 10th grade students. 9th grade and 11th grade will be setting theirs up, and those will occur 2 to 3 times per week, and there'll be a designated time, and passwords will be sent to those students as well, so they can reach out to a counselor. What happens during the counselor calls is the administrators are highly encouraged to check in. So I'll frequently check in on the 10th grade call to see what questions are going on and to communicate with students in addition to the calls we run with students. We also have posted and in the process of updating our teacher virtual hours. We know with the number of courses that we teach and just the complications with those courses, that some content is better for the teacher or a teacher of that particular content to be available. So we're trying to get that information out. We're still updating that document. It's going to be posted to our web, and it will be also placed in the newsletter. There'll be a link in the newsletter to those hours. So for instance, if you have a chemistry question, we can let you know when Ms. Fisher is going to be online, or another chemistry teacher like Mr. Washington. So it decreases level of frustration. I know as a parent myself, it just helps when my child has a question, you know, I can try to answer some of it, but when it's something about a content I'm not familiar with, I know what time the Google Hangout time period is for that particular subject, and he can hop on and get that question answered. So this kind of decreased a lot of frustration. We are too working on one of those device distributions. One more, we have a distribution date coming up for Thursday. So Mr. Desmond Harris handles devices for us at the high school, and he emailed me this morning, let me know that he's in the final setup stages for a Thursday distribution. We've had 2, but this is for all those who did not get one, that's reached out, need a device. If they had something go wrong with the device, he's working on that as well, so he can bring people up on Thursday and get a device. Our newsletter is going out weekly now. It's still running Saturdays at 1:10. There's a voice call. There's a message from me each week in that newsletter. The first one was for the students. The last one's for the teachers. This week's message is going to be editorial for the parents, and then we'll resume our regular editorials that come out weekly. We want to still encourage folks to reach out if they need something. We have our iPhone number that we place in our newsletter. You can contact us there, or you can email us. We have set up, because of the way we are set up now remotely, there's been some changes to departments, and we've sent that out, but we'll continue to send it out so you can get in contact with the person you may need. For instance, if you need a transcript, who do you call or who do you email? We have that stuff set up, and we place that in the newsletter, but we're going to constantly continue to send that kind of stuff out. We're working through our senior events, and as you can see from my post, we're working through things as well to make sure that we're able to get the information we need in the hands of our parents who need refunds. One of the final things that we've done is that we've allowed the different areas to come to the building that need items. So cosmetology has been up there, different athletic groups have been up there. If your child has something in the building, We're in our final stages before we start to shut areas off. If you would please let us know, we will communicate with you and let you know what time we can arrange for you to come pick up something that your child may need. But we have taken care of that with about 1,000 that participate in events, including band. And so if there's someone we miss, please just reach out to us and we'll set up a time so administrator can meet you or a sponsor can meet you to make sure that you get your projects. And that includes like AP Art. So if you need something like that building, we want to know about it.
That's really helpful, Mr. Joseph. So we've got a lot of questions that have come in, and some really are, specifically for our high school students. And as I said at the top of this call, I know we're working on a platform, a page, where we're going to just address all of these senior 2020 questions at once. But just for you real quick, Mr. Joseph, people are asking, what do they do about transcripts for college? Who's the point of contact for that? And are we able to release transcripts for college?
Yeah, Pearl Evans is our transcript person. She's our school registrar. So they email pearl.evans@desotoisd.org. They have to include their name, ID, and where they want the transcript to go. She's working remotely, and she'll make sure that that is taken care of.
Wonderful. And I know, Mr. Joseph, you've been engaged with our student leadership, our senior class officers. Of course, people are wondering what's going to happen with senior activities, prom, graduation. You have a quick update for us?
Yes, so I've been talking with our senior leadership and our balance style. Have been on Zoom calls as well. So we've been meeting and discussing various activities, and we are in right now monitoring the information we're receiving from Dallas County officials, health officials, and from our governor. And so we are postponing events as opposed to canceling events right now. What that does is that as we get more information, we're able to make a decision on whether or not we can cancel, and then we issue a refund for the event. Or if it's postponed, we're holding until that postponed date. So we have canceled one event already, and then we have another call this afternoon, and we're going to talk about the next group of events. But we're trying to make sure we do it in a systematic way. One of the things that, I know I'm supposed to be brief, but one of the things that we talked about with regard to seniors is that this is their senior year. Like, they're not going to get another senior year. And so as much of the senior year as we can send them out in a celebratory fashion, we want to do that. And so we're being very thoughtful about what we do going forward as opposed to just sending them on off to college and saying, okay, too bad. We know they got their cap and gowns. They were extremely excited in February when they got those cap and gowns. And so we want every opportunity by taking those pictures, posting those pictures online, and then every opportunity we can to have a graduation.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph. That's been helpful. And I appreciate everyone who submitted questions to us early online. Thank you so much. You can always continue to send your questions to info@desotoisd.org, even once this call concludes. I want to thank all of my campus leaders for joining us today on the call. For those who are in attendance, if you're a parent, staff, student, member of the community, and you are wondering how to be connected, I think that I heard just about every single parent campus principal referred to a newsletter or a call that they're sending out on a frequent basis. Please ensure that you're receiving those. Check your settings in the parent portal. Perhaps you may have the district block, or you may have an old cell phone number or an old email address attached to it. Please ensure that we have your most current contact information so you're not missing any notifications from our campus leaders. Again, it's not our intent to overwhelm you, but we do want to keep you informed. So please be sure that we have your most updated contact information in our parent portal. I appreciate our guests for joining us today. A few parting notes again. Don't forget info@desotoisd.org. That is the email inbox. We are taking and receiving your calls. Next Tuesday, for our Tuesday Town Hall, we're going to hear from medical experts in our community about how to support mental and emotional wellness during the COVID-19 crisis. So we are super excited about next week's call as well. As always, lots of great things happening all over DeSoto ISD. I want to remind those watching to be encouraged, keep the faith, take care of yourself and of others in your household if you're able to. I appreciate you joining us today, Dr. Weaver. Do you have any parting thoughts for us before we conclude this town hall?
Absolutely. Again, I just want to remind people that this organization, from every person in this organization, has worked at just unbelievable rates over the last 4 weeks or so to stand up an entirely different structure than what we have experienced for all of our lives. And today we wanted to highlight the great work that our campus leaders are doing, because without them, nothing could happen. And, you know, we were all a part of this initial kind of thinking of what this, you know, could become. You know, central office shouldered a lot of work there. Campus administrators are shouldering a ton of work now as we roll this new structure out. And even as we've been on this call, you know, our high school principal is, you know, working behind the scenes on grading and making sure that things are clear, and that, you know, our intent to do no harm is actually working, you know, well. You know, all of our principals, you know, you know, I am at a loss for words around just how appreciative I am of them and what they've done during this time. And, you know, DeSoto is extremely lucky. They're extremely blessed to have the people that we have in the seats that we have during this time. So I just want to thank them. Thank you, campus leaders, your assistant principals, all of our instructional coaches, our PLC leaders. Big shout out to the second grade PLC team. You know what you did. I am very proud of you. All of our teachers, all of our leaders who are working to ensure that students and parents have some semblance of school during a time of crisis. I just want to let you all know that I really appreciate you, our board of trustees. They're very thankful for you. And we'll see you all next week. Thank you for your time.
All right, we appreciate you. Thank you. We are signing off. Please be sure you enjoy the rest of this week. Bye, everybody.